providing resources and comfort to caregivers. This is Caregiver Crossing.
Hello, everyone. Hi, it's Terry. It's your friend Terry. How are you? And this is just a random show that I've invented. I know Caregiver Crossing's supposed to be on, but now I've taken it over, and we're going to just do all about cooking. What do you think about that?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's talk about
It's Caregiver Crossing, and we're glad you're here. If this is your first time joining us, Caregiver Crossing. This is a show that's brought to you by Joyce House and presented in partnership with Cardon and Associates. We are right here with you each week, and we talk about all things caregiving. And we're glad that you're here. I'm Terry. That is Noah Taylor right next to me. He produces the show. Hi, Noah.
Hi.
What's up?
Hello.
What have you been doing?
Ooh, what have I been doing?
Uh-huh.
I actually just came back from a trip in Memphis.
I hope you had a good time.
I had a wonderful time. I have a friend out there who is doing some theater, and I got to see her in a Bronx Tale. Incredible show.
Oh, that's fun.
Very cool.
Memphis is cool. I think Memphis is cool. The first time I ever really went to Tennessee, it was to Memphis. I loved it.
I'm Midwest boy through and through, but I love the food and I love barbecue and I love the music.
Good food.
Yes.
Good food. Well, anyway, here we are. We are in the thick of July. We've got all kinds of things coming up. The State Fair, which I love, and work. I hope that you'll come and see me when I get out there. It'll be the end of July when the Great State Fair opens, but I'll be in the Arts Building. Love to have you stop by. It's got the best air conditioning, and I must admit, the best bathrooms in the Arts Building. Okay? So stop by and see me then. But yeah, kids are getting ready to go back to school. And July 24th, in fact, coming up is International Self-Care Day. Right?
Yes, this is so important for caregivers. So this is a day to focus on how we take care of ourselves and just when we're burned out. Not just when we're burned out, but how we take care of ourselves every single day. And this is so important for everybody, but specifically for our caregivers who need a little bit of that.
Oh, I bet it feels almost impossible to think about that you put that on your list, and self-care.
Right.
It's hard. It is really hard. It can feel impossible. It can even feel unnecessary. It can feel guilty. You can feel a lot of guilt for taking some time for just yourself. But it's essential.
Yeah, we've heard a lot of caregivers on the show and even at Joyce House who think that taking care of themselves is selfish. But how can you take care of your loved one if you can't take care of yourself, right?
Well, if you don't take care of yourself, guess what? You're not going to be 100% either. And things can go wrong with you, too, when you're not taking care of yourself.
And then you need somebody to take care of you.
Yep.
So 60% of caregivers have delayed or skipped their own medical appointments due to caregiving responsibilities. I mean, this is literally what we're just talking about. I mean, people even skipping out on doctor's appointments because they have to take care of their loved ones.
Yeah.
And then you yourself become unhealthy because of you're not...
Yeah.
You don't have the time to be able to get to the doctor.
And we've heard this time and time again from doctors that you're skipping necessary tests that you should be having, your annual tests that you should be having. You skip out on those just because you don't have time. I mean, I really do understand. You don't have time. And to book those kind of things like tests.
Yeah. Go ahead and schedule your colonoscopy right now.
And it would be like maybe November before, because again, I understand it's a hard thing to get done, but truly, truly necessary. Even if it's just a few minutes of self-care a day, maybe like what? 10, 15 minutes?
I mean, as long as you just have a few intentional
it can make a
minutes
difference
for yourself. I mean, just resting, laughing, moving throughout the day. Will really help your long-term health outcomes, giving yourself that self-care.
Okay. Well, it doesn't have to be fancy. I know that. Self-care does not have to be fancy. I've learned that. You don't need to have a massage or yoga retreat like Tina does. You don't have to go to a week-long camp, something like that. No. So don't put that pressure on you. Sometimes it's just maybe you just need a few minutes away to sit on the porch and have a cup of coffee and just kind of, what's the word? De-escalate?
Yeah.
Is that the word? No,
Deactivate.
decompose.
Yeah, decompose, deactivate,
No, decompress.
decompress.
Decompose.
We got there eventually.
Okay.
It only took
Hold
4
on.
or 5 different words.
Decompose. Isn't that like rotting?
Yeah, that's definitely not the right one. We got there though. Decompress. That's what we went.
I miss you, Tina.
Yeah, we miss you, Tina.
You're quicker figuring out what we're trying to say than
She would have known
than
on the first word.
Okay, so yes, decompress. It can just be doing something like that. Just and Tina has talked about this. Her favorite place is in the car, and mine too. I like just sitting in the car sometimes. with
Honestly, I do.
Nothing going on.
Sometimes it's nice just to have that moment alone.
I
Maybe
know.
you take a little lunch in your car.
Right,
Maybe you
right.
turn on the car for a second, get the air going,
Just
and the
something.
music loud.
Yeah.
As long as you've got that few minutes for yourself, that's really, really what matters.
Yeah, it can make a difference.
What's something small that helps you feel like yourself again?
Something small that makes me feel like I'm good again, like I'm back to where I was. It's a walk for me. Sometimes at work, I'll just walk up and down the stairwell.
Just up and down the stairs. I mean, that's kind of like getting a little
To where
exercise in as well.
Well, it does, and then I come back and I rest a minute, and then I feel back to normal. Sometimes I got to get away from everybody.
Yeah.
And I can't get to the parking garage, so I just
make it
go
all
up
the
and
way
down,
there.
up and down the stairwell to where I can't breathe anymore, and then I'm like, okay, I'm good to go. But yeah, for you,
I think for me, it is. I think it's just going outside and putting on my headphones and turning up the whatever song I have on Spotify all the way as loud as humanly possible.
oh my gosh, you
just-
are gonna blow out your eardrums.
I'm just kidding. I actually don't put it up that far.
Now we have to go back to
Yeah.
hearing month, which
Yeah.
was like a couple of months ago. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Don't.
Music
because
is really, really important for me, and especially
me
at Joy's
too.
house.
You're
Yeah.
right. You're right.
Yeah, the connection between music and diagnoses like dementia and Alzheimer's is such a prevalent a correlation there.
Okay. It's for everybody. Sometimes you might think it's not for you, self-care. I didn't think about self-care for a long, long time, honestly, and I'm old. And I realize now, even if it's just 5 minutes a day, if I can do that. And when I go home at night, my self-care at night is really just having a bath.
Mm-hmm. Having a bath too, you're getting clean as well.
I mean, I've got old cats now that are nearing 20, and all of them are screaming at me all the time. No, they're not children, but they are screaming at me all the time. All right, we're going to take a break. We got to get to a break.
I think it's time.
Okay, let's go.
All right, we do have to take a break. We'll be right around, so stick with us. You can find past episodes of the show at joyshouse.org, and be sure to like and follow us on Facebook as well. If you'd like to connect with us to discuss show topics, need help connecting with resources, or have a question that you'd like for us to answer on air, or just want to say hey, you can reach us at 317-254-0828, or you can email Tina directly right at tina@joyshouse.org. This is a show designed for family caregivers and the people who love them. Caregiver Crossing is brought to you weekly by Joy's House in partnership with Cardon & Associates. We're here every week to bring you support, education, and hopefully a good laugh. Visit joyshouse.org to connect with us, hear past episodes, learn more about caregiver support resources in the community, and much, much more. All right, stick with us, everybody. We'll be right back with more Caregiver Crossing.
Everyone knows that feeling, wanting to experience more stories, but struggling to find the time. That's where Audible changes everything. With over 1 million audiobooks and Audible originals, there's a story waiting to spark anyone's imagination. Take The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley, the gripping psychological thriller that's keeping listeners on the edge of their seats. Imagine unraveling its mysteries during your morning commute, or losing yourself in its twists and turns while doing household chores. That's the magic of Audible. It transforms daily routines into opportunities for thrilling discoveries. The best part? Members get access to thousands of included titles, with new content added regularly. From bestsellers to hidden gems, every genre imaginable is at their fingertips. And with one easy-to-use app, switching between favorites or discovering new passions has never been simpler. There's more to imagine when you listen. Start a free 30-day Audible trial and get your first audiobook free at audible.com/Wondery. That's audible.com/Wondery.
We are back on Caregiver Crossing. I'm Tina McIntosh, one of your hosts in studio with
Terry Stacy.
and the wonderful producer.
Noah Taylor.
And we are so thrilled to have somebody that I met quite some time ago at the U.S. Aging Show in Tampa, Florida, and just won my heart. And this person is doing all kinds of good work. Carly is not just an incredible occupational therapist, which we love our OTs around here, but also a true motivator in making homes that are safer and more accessible for people who need it most. They are the director of clinical partnerships at Rosarium Health, and they are bridging the gap between healthcare professionals and life-changing home modifications that make a real difference for caregivers and their loved ones. So, Carly, so glad that you're here with us today.
Yes, of course. Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be on the podcast, and I'm really excited to talk about what Rosarium Health does, what we're doing in the space, how we're helping older adults and individuals with disabilities age in place, stay safely in their home. So really excited to talk about it.
Yeah, you know, when you and I met, we talked about occupational therapy and the importance of the work that you're doing. For somebody who might just be tuning in for the first time and doesn't really know what an OT does, can you explain it in very simple terms?
Sure. I think it's a question that all OTs get, when they're like, what does an OT do? And it's like, there's so many things that OTs can do and spaces that we can work in, but basically we help it improve the quality of life. So there's all different aspects in which an OT can work. So if you're working in a hospital, maybe you're helping somebody who just recovered from surgery, helping them with their activities of daily living. So getting dressed, showering, changing, brushing their teeth, anything that you would do in your activity of daily living. If you're working with a child with disabilities, maybe you're helping them with handwriting in school, or helping, a young boy with Down syndrome clean their room, or executive functioning, or communicate with their parents. If you're working with somebody with dementia, right, you'd be working on home safety. So how are they in their home? Do they know how to lock the door? Can they get dressed? How are they communicating with their family? Everything like that. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does make sense. But I do want to talk about when you mentioned home safety, for caregivers just starting to think about making their home safer and more accessible. What are the first steps that they should take?
So the first steps a caregiver should really think about when making their home more accessible is really think about that person that they're making it accessible for, right? How many steps are there to get in? Are there railings for them to hold on to? How is the lighting, right? Is there proper lighting in the house? Are there any rugs that are unturned? Are there mats that can be slippery? Even just in the shower, right? When you're showering, there's low cost things that you can get, like a low cost non-slip mat or a grab bar that you can even get from CVS. Just anything where you're getting up, right, or walking around the house should be safe. So if you're getting up from somewhere, is there proper handrails? If you're walking upstairs, is there proper handrails? Is there proper lighting? When you're walking around, are any rugs unturned? And, is the pathway clear when you're walking? Things like that you can really start thinking about.
You are hearing the voice of Carly Weiner, who is occupational therapist and the director of clinical partnerships at Rosarium Health. You talk about even the rugs and the handrails. Why is it that people are so against making those modifications in their homes? Like, I don't want to pull the rug. I remember my dad saying that. I like my rugs. I want my rugs there. Dad, you're going to trip on your rugs. Dad trips on rug, still wants the rug. Like, why do we get stuck in that mindset? Do you know, Carly?
I think
get in our brains.
Yeah, I think it's common just in general that aging is a very sensitive topic, and just like you're going through the part of your life that you're going through right now without any experience going through what you're going through, your dad was going through what he was going through at that age for the first time, right? So he had no experience on aging before he's going through it, and you have no experience. So how he's dealing with that time in his life is different, and it might be hard to express. So when you're coming in and saying, we need to change this, we need to change that, he's trying to hold on to some sense of control, right, over what's happening, his aging.
That is
So when you're trying to make decisions, we want to change this, he's kind of fighting back on this whole idea of change and aging. And not everybody is super receptive to change or listening, especially when it's their kids. They're rarely going to listen to them. You always kind of need a third party to come in and maneuver and kind of grease the wheels on any change that needs to happen.
I hear you say that, Carly, and it makes me think, I saw an Instagram post, it kept popping up in my feed saying, remember, it's your mom's first time living this life too. And
exactly,
you saying that about my dad makes me think of that. And that's a great, great point you make. And we forget, I'm in this industry, and I'm sure, I promise you, before his passing, I didn't think of those things that you're saying right now. So thank you for the reminder, because I think it's important for us to hear that as caregivers.
Yeah, I do too. Carly, oftentimes you'll hear, well, some of these things that can help keep us safe can also cost us a lot of money. And for some, they just don't have that kind of money. What are some of the least, and I think I don't know how much handrails are or those kind of things, but fairly inexpensively you can make changes, I bet.
Yeah, so some of those like non-slip rugs or non-slip mats for the shower can be like $15. Handrails can be $20 from CVS. The kind of suction ones, you do have to be careful, right? Putting in suction handrails, because sometimes they're not the most stable, but they can do, what they're meant to do for a short amount of time. And you can even put, this is really inexpensive, but you could put colored tape, like masking tape, like at the bottom of stairs, like at the edges, to help somebody who may have poor eyesight.
That's a great
or dementia
idea.
Kind of see the difference in the stairs. So you can even do things like that.
You could use painter's tape even, couldn't you?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, painter's tape.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like
I think that's what I meant. Those are really low cost solutions. Even things like changing where the plates are or the cups are so that somebody doesn't have to reach anymore, or like grab it and something can fall on them. Thinking about that, depending on, what type of aging the person is going through in the home. If they're starting to get tremors, it may not make sense to grab for the plate that's on the highest shelf, right? You might want to just keep the plates out, or have a plate that won't crash to the ground and break in a million pieces. Things like that. Those are, things about aging in place safely that we don't normally think about. We always think grab bar, wheelchair ramp. Oh, they're going to redo my whole bathroom, but it's not even that. It's just thinking about how you would baby proof a home, but doing that for when you're aging.
Occupational therapy, if I had the brains to have gone into OT, I would have done that. I love occupational therapy. I know I've had that conversation with people over time that we all have an occupation. It doesn't matter if you're a newborn or if you're 109 years old. Like, we all have an occupation and how you get through the daily things that you do. And so if someone is not familiar, stick around. We're going to talk in this next segment a little bit further about occupational therapy, what Carly and their team are doing there at Rosarium Health, and how you can learn more about that as well. And so I'm really glad that you're here. I think we're going to take a break, and then we'll be back here.
Hang on, Carly.
Just a moment.
You're listening to Caregiver Crossing, a show designed for family caregivers and the people who love them. Caregiver Crossing is brought to you as a service of Joyce House in partnership with Cardon & Associates. With locations in Broad Ripple and near the University of Indianapolis campus, Joyce House provides exceptional day services for individuals living with a life-altering diagnosis and compassionate support for family caregivers throughout the community. At Joyce House, we believe that everyone deserves to live their best life, regardless of their abilities. Learn more about our adult day and caregiver support services by calling us at 317-254-0828 or by visiting joycehouse.org today. All right, that web address again is joyshouse.org. Stick around. We'll be right back with more Caregiver Crossing shortly.
Welcome back to Caregiver Crossing. Terry, Stacy, Tina McIntosh had to dash out for a minute. Noah Taylor is still here producing today's show, and we're thrilled to continue our conversation with Carly Weiner, an occupational therapist, director of clinical partnership at Rosarium Health. Carly, thank you for sticking around. Can we talk about money again? Finances?
Sure.
Okay, let's talk. Let's start
talk about
here
it.
because I know that financial concerns, they are a huge barrier for many caregivers. So maybe you could give us some financial options, or are there financial options available to help cover some of the cost of those home modifications we were talking about earlier?
So I do want to talk about some financial options. Depending on your insurance, I think there's, a little bit of misconceptions. I'll try and keep this quick about managed Medicaid and Medicare Advantage. In the U.S., managed Medicaid and Medicare Advantage Part C does cover home modifications, but a misconception is that traditional Medicare Part A and B cover home modifications, and that's not true. So the coverage and allowance available for home modifications for managed Medicaid and Medicare Advantage is plan specific. So it's critical to check with your care case manager to really determine your eligibility. Like in some states, that's $7,500 for a lifetime benefit. Other states, that's $50,000. So you really have to check with your state and your Medicaid plan about what is covered. There are also, different programs. Sometimes there's an MSSP program, which is a multi-purpose senior service program that can help individuals with payments. There is, the AAA in your area that can help with. There's Habitat for Humanity that may be able to help, and then there's different websites that actually help you raise money if you really need to. If you're a veteran, the veteran gives up to $12,000 in home modifications. If you're a spouse of a veteran, you may be able to. So really, the possibilities could be endless on what you're, able to do in terms of getting help for home modifications. And if you have more questions, you can reach out to me and we can try and help.
Okay,
That's,
good deal.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
How would people reach out to you if they're interested in learning more?
Yeah, they can just reach out to me, send me an email, Carly at Rosarium, ROSARIUM, as in Mary, health.com.
And then could you tell us the website too, just in case our listeners want to learn any more?
The website is www.rosarium, ROSARIUM, health.com. And they could just go online, our website really, Rosarium Health is a platform that connects individuals who need the home modifications with clinicians to do an assessment if they want that, and contractors to do the work. And I think what's really great about Rosarium Health is a lot of times when you are, trying to get a home modification done, you have to call maybe 12 people and try and retell that story of what's going on. On Rosarium Health, you input that story once. We connect you with contractors who are already vetted, who have the right certifications, who can see pictures of your house if you want. And then they call you and set up, a quote or what you'll do to get that work done. And then you really choose without having to reach out to a million people, search the internet. We do that work for you.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's really wonderful. I mean, caregivers are already thinking about so much. The last thing on your mind is calling 12 different people
right,
for a home modification. Yeah, that's really
exactly.
wonderful.
And comparing prices and, the way that our model is set up, it really helps the contractors kind of lower their price because they want to get chosen. They know that there are other people giving prices, so they'll try and lower it to work with you. And I think, talking with a contractor, asking about payment plans, could be a good idea as well. Just explain your situation and say, look, I really need this, but is there a payment plan that I can go on? Is there a loan that I can get through the credit card company? Things like that. Financing options are really important to think about as well.
Beautiful.
And then to be honest, one last thing is also, if you're young and listening to this right now, start saving now, for when you're older, for when your parents get older. Just a little bit each month goes a long way.
Good. Very good
That
tip.
is really important. I
Yep.
mean, especially for myself. I'm still in my early 20s, so I think it's really important for me to hear that, you really do need to be preparing for some of these things.
You do, and when you're thinking about moving or going to a house or an apartment, are you on the first floor? How many steps are there to get up to your building? How many steps are there in this new house that you want to buy with your partner, right? Are there 10 steps? Because that's not going to be a house that you can really age in. Is there a bedroom on the first floor? Can there be a bedroom on the first floor? How accessible is the kitchen? What's the bathroom like? Would it need to be redone for a wheelchair one day? Is there a tub that you walk into, that you have to step over to get in, or is it a walk-in shower? A walk-in shower is going to be more accessible in the future. So those are just things that you can think of as you're moving or buying a home as well.
Let's talk about technology a little bit.
Yes, let's.
Technology is playing such an increasingly important role in healthcare. We do know that. I've been talking to doctors over the last couple of months about AI and what it is doing for them. How is Rosarium leveraging that tech to improve accessibility and support caregivers in the home modification process?
Yeah, so we're using tech to really have a vast network of contractors in our area and then connect you with those contractors. So, we have a really well-developed platform. You can upload pictures on our platform. You can state a million things about your diagnosis or what you're looking for, and we'll send that to the contractor. The contractor can choose you or message you through our platform. So we're really keeping up to date on that tech side for our marketplace for consumers to have a good experience on our platform.
We got to keep
Currently,
up with
we
tech.
don't use. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome. It seems like it's a really easy, accessible resource for our aging individuals. I am a little bit curious about how the organizations are vetted, the people who come out to contract.
Yeah, good question. So they're vetted. We have a whole credentialing process. I'm not on the credentialing team, but we have to see, proof of license. We have to have referrals, 3 examples of work. We have to see that they have insurance, and we have to know how long they were in business, among other things, just to make sure that they are actually licensed, and that they are bonded and insured in case something happens, and that we speak into referrals. If it is a new contractor, I think there's a lengthy interview process that we go through, and kind of figure out where they got certified as well. A lot of our contractors also might have a certified living in place specialist certification. So it's not just that they're a general contractor, but they do have the ability to look at a house through the lens of aging in place.
Carly Weiner, occupational therapist, director of clinical partnerships at Rosarium Health, Rosarium Health, rosariumhealth.com. If you'd like to send her a note, Carly at rosariumhealth.com, and she will be glad to answer any question you may have. You're a great guest. Tina thinks the world of you. We do too. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much, everyone. If you have any questions, just reach out to me. Happy to help you or your loved one.
Thank you, Carly.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're listening to Caregiver Crossing, a show designed for family caregivers and the people who love them. Caregiver Crossing is brought to you weekly by Joyce House in partnership with Cardon and Associates. We're here every week to bring you support, education, and hopefully a good laugh. Visit joycehouse.org to connect with us, hear past episodes, learn more about caregiver support resources in the community, and much, much more. That website again is joycehouse.org. All right, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Caregiver Crossing shortly.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Caregiver Crossing. Terry, Noah, we're here with you for a little bit longer anyway. I'm glad you're here. You've got news.
Well, I'm glad you're here too, and I do have news.
Yeah.
So Terry, nearly 600 nursing homes are projected to close in the U.S. this year.
Okay, let's think about that. 600 nursing homes are projected to and is there a reason? Is there new ones being built to replace those 600? Because guess what? We're getting older and living longer, and we may need you, facilities. Why are they closing? I
think
wonder.
we'll definitely get into all of this about why they're closing and why caregivers and families might not be prepared. But many of these nursing homes are in rural areas or lower income communities.
And
And
so if you're rural,
yes,
so maybe they're sitting half empty
yes, I
or
think
even
so.
more.
The top reasons really are all staff shortages. We've seen a lot lately, low Medicaid reimbursement and rising care costs, and especially as adults start to get older, we'll have more people who need these types of communities. And even just since 2020 alone,
Just 5 years ago.
more than 770 nursing homes have shut down. And
Man.
what's crazy is that number is going to almost double just this year.
Yeah.
Just this year alone.
And so the nursing homes that I'm seeing being built are these they're mega places, mega buildings, mega facilities, and they cost mega money.
Mm.
And so there's going to have to be a balance here, folks. We need a balance. Not everybody can move into your big fancy nursing homes. You really can't. And I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what's going on, but
I mean,
a lot of them shutting down.
yeah, it is very scary, very real situation. And I think that's why we need more organizations like Joyce House, like other adult days who are like us and not-for-profits, and really just doing this for the mission, to care about the guests and the caregivers and the loved ones. That's why it's really incredible that Joyce House has our guest scholarship program, because I don't think families are prepared.
No.
I got this stat that some families get as little as 30 days notice to make a plan.
When these shut down.
Yeah.
When these places shut down, they're done.
How can you even get your loved one into a new community within those 3 or 4 weeks?
When and if these are all shutting down, now places are full, in some instances.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Rising care costs, low Medicaid reimbursement, as you said, staff shortages. I don't know how that changes. And we're talking about Medicaid right now with the big, beautiful bill. What will happen? I don't know. But it's a lot of uncertainty.
It is, and it's very real and very scary for a lot of our caregivers. So that's why we want to bring some awareness to it and talk to it here on the show. Because many caregivers never really expected to provide full-time care, but are suddenly faced with round-the-clock responsibility when these communities are shut down. That person is forced to live with you or forced to live on the street, quite frankly.
Bringing a loved one home, what that's, I think many of you know, bringing a loved one into your home can mean you got to rearrange your job, finances, routines, housing. It affects relationships, mental health, stability. So that's why Joyce House really has become part of the solution in many instances.
I think a lot.
Now we need more Joyce House.
Yes.
Now we need more of those adult day services.
And even if Joyce House isn't the right fit, I do believe that adult day services are part of the answer here. I think these community-based organizations that are servicing our local community are really what we should look forward to and be able to see thrive in these moments.
Yeah. Tina McIntosh, I know she's not here today, the founder of Joyce House. She truly was right there at the forefront of what has really become, some would say maybe as we look to the future, could be a crisis because we are living longer, and that quality of life sometimes is still pretty good when you're in your 80s and your 90s in many instances. And if this is part of a bigger trend, this long-term care in the United States, it's changing, and caregivers are really absorbing more and more of the burden. Tina's, as I mentioned, really was on the forefront of this, and she's on so many different boards and things looking at the future when it comes to caring here in the United States and getting older. Truly, she's right there. I'm sorry she's not here at this very second to tell you that, but she would be saying that. She would be saying, I'm working on this.
We're trying.
She
Yeah, we
cares
have
about
to
what
do
you think.
all that we can.
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
for our aging adult community here in Indianapolis and in the country as well.
Yeah. For you, okay, you're how old?
I am, I'm 25 right
25.
now.
He's 25, ladies and gentlemen. He's 25 years old. So imagine what the future of care looks like when you get to be, what would that be? 50 years, maybe,
Yeah.
40 years, something like that, maybe. We don't know. We don't know when you're going to hurt your hip.
Hopefully not anytime soon.
But anyway, yeah, what that looks like for you. It could be very Jetsons like, where you can just age in your home without having to go anywhere, and you've got robots that are constantly around you, fixing your knee,
taking care of your
fixing
knee,
your
your
hip,
hip.
all the stuff. And you just, you got the robots all around you. It could be very exciting if we look in the future.
That sounds really, really lovely. I mean, as long as the adults get to age in place or age where they want to, I think that sounds really, really awesome.
Me too.
And
I do too.
I'd love to have a robot that could serve me food and fix me up, fix my bones when I need to.
Not bad. Not bad. That's Noah. I'm Terry. We're glad you were here with us today. And as we close this show, if you want to we want to remind you that are listening that you can contact us for more information and lots of resources to help you through this journey of caregiving. Just call 317-254-0828. And Noah, we thank our sponsors.
Caregiver Crossing is supported by Cardon & Associates, with 20 communities owned, operated, or managed in the Midwest, and more than 4 decades of senior living experience. Cardon & Associates provides residents with the best senior living options and personalized service. Until next time, take great care of each other.
Bye.